It's Saturday, and so happy Saturday to you guys. Well, today we're going to talk about my journey, a little bit of my journey. If you watched the first one, you know that my son committed a crime and he went to prison. Um, so I was going to talk a little bit about what that was like after he was gone, and what the Lord started teaching me about hope. And in the last podcast, I talked about, it was a bucket, that there had a hope budget. But he was also explaining to me about what is hope. You hear hope, faith, love. And I was just like, what really is hope? I mean, what is it? Um, anyway, I realized, like I talked about in the last podcast, it was like he was treating it like a lost set of keys. And when I found it, it was an actual tangible thing I could pick up, and it was like a ball of light. It is tangible, like it is a tangible living thing. Hope is alive. Like when you get hold of it, everything changes. Everything changes. And I know that you know that. I know that there's been a time that you've had hope in your life that something was going to happen, or something was going to turn out for the best or whatever. And when you did, you got excited, you got anticipating this thing happening. That's hope. And it is a tangible, feeling, living thing that gets inside your heart. And anyway, so he was reminding me, and it was really funny. Before my son went to prison, I got a tattoo. And here, I'm going to show it to y'all. I don't know if you can see it, but it's faith. Yeah, faith. Faith is the cross. Hope is the EKG heartbeat. And then there's love. So he said, if y'all don't know, I'm a nurse. So he talked to me about the heartbeat of hope. That's why I named this the heartbeat of hope. And he said it's the heartbeat. We can have a low heart rate and low hope, which means we're barely breathing, we're barely functioning. We don't see any reason to go forward. Don't want to. Don't even want to get out of bed. Don't want to shower. Don't want to do the things. Why? Why bother? Um, and I know that there's a lot of people that feel like that, in the world these days with all the stuff going on and just everything in everybody's lives. Everybody's got something going on. Then there's also, the fast heartbeat, the excitement. You're looking forward to something. Oh, you can't wait for this to happen. Oh, this is happening with my kids. Oh, this is going on. And then you get that fast heart rate. He was talking about that with me. And so what he was working on with me is actually reviving my heartbeat. Um, he pretty much said I needed CPR. And so I got this tattoo right before my son went to prison. And he said that I would need it and that I would need to look at it. And it's faith, hope, and love. And hope is really the thing that I feel like he has given me a message about, and that so many people need it. Also, a while back, I had been writing devotionals. I just felt like they were pouring out of me. Like I was writing these devotionals, and one of them was called The Golden Cord of Hope. And it was a cord attached to heaven, that I would just hold on to this golden cord of hope. And I believe that was another thing that he was trying to teach me ahead of time. If we will listen to him, he's telling you things ahead of time. If we have some heads up and we know that something is coming, we can stand firm and get ready for it, And I feel like he was telling me these things ahead of time. But this golden cord of hope is, hold on to this golden cord of hope. Keep it with you. It's the direct line to heaven. I want to hear what heaven has to say. I don't want to hear what everybody else has to say about my situation or about my son. I want to hear what heaven has to say. I want to hear what Jesus has to say. And that's what you need to hear about your situation, is not what everyone else is saying, good, bad, ugly, right, wrong. You want to hear what Jesus has to say, because he's the one that's going to keep you hopeful, keep you in the right perspective, in the right frame of mind, and and able to handle what's coming or what's going on. He will set your feet solid, right? So we've got to get you in this thing. So we've got to hear on this. So I'm going to share a little bit out of my personal journal. I'll even get vulnerable with you and show you this is what I do. So this right here, I had a drawing. So I draw like a kindergartner in my journal and I write things out. I ask him questions. I think I talked to you about two-way journaling. So this is an example of what I was doing, and I was going to read this to you. But I was talking to Jesus about, he had actually given me a story about the blind man that he led out of the way. I guess he took him out of the village or just let him off from people to go heal him from his blindness. And I was just thinking about that blind man. Like, Jesus, here he comes. This blind man doesn't know who he is. He's like blind. He can't see him. And Jesus is like, picks him up and starts walking him out away from everybody. Can you imagine what the blind man was thinking? I mean, I don't know if he was thinking, where is this guy taking me? Or if he was hopeful that, man, my whole situation may change. That's what I was thinking he was thinking, is that everyone else says this guy heals. Everyone else is saying these things. What if? What if? What if my situation changes? What if I go with this guy and he takes me out of here and I come back and I can see? And I was just like, oh, that is what hope is. That right there was hope. And so I started writing and I asked Jesus, this is what I wrote in my journal, what does hope look like to you on us? When he is looking at me and he's looking at you and he sees hope, what does he see? And this is what I got. It's a sparkle. Oh, hold on. Yeah, it's a sparkle in your eye where it was once gone. It's the corners of your mouth beginning to smile again. It's a good belly laugh. It's a crack of light in a dark room. It's surrender. It's being still. This one was juicy. It's a vital nutrient before the miracle comes. We got to have hope before the miracle, you know? It's a vital nutrient before the miracle comes. It's the blind man being led step by step out of the village into the unknown, to the what if. What if I come back and I can see? It's the Samaritan woman running back from the well to the village to tell everybody about Jesus. It's the increased heart rate. It's the kindling to the fire. It's holding his hand. It's a blank slate waiting to be filled in by me. It's expectation, it's excitement, and it's possibilities. And it's what if? What if this thing happens? What if what I'm afraid to ask or hope for happens? You know, it's what I just thought that was so beautiful. That was straight from Jesus, and it was so beautiful. So that's what there's biblical hope, there's worldly hope. So I feel like I just gave you guys a little bit of what a biblical hope is. And it's hoping in Jesus, that what if, wondering, daring to believe that this thing might happen. Worldly hope is, if I play my cards right, I might get this. It's earning, it's doing something. Or if I'm good and right in my life and I get all my stuff together and I do things right, then maybe, the Lord will give this thing to me that I'm asking for. That is worldly hope, and that's awful. Anyway, so I was going to talk about loneliness, isolation, and living alone after, I don't know if somebody has passed away, or you're grown, your kids are grown and they're gone. But, when my son was gone, it was a suddenly. It was one day I left the house, I saw him, I said, "Love you, I'll see you later." He was never to be living with me. You know, I believe he will be in the future, but he was not going to return anytime soon. So, coming back to my house and having to, in a ways, it was a lot like he did die. I had to pack all of these things. I had to, because and now I got to sell my house. So I'm packing all of his things. I'm canceling his car insurance, his cell phone. I'm turning things off. You know, all of that. Trying to pack him up, pack up all his clothes and clean all of his room out and, put all of his stuff up in storage and all of that. It was hard. Oh gosh, it was so hard. And then him not being in my house. He used to barrel down my stairs in this crazy teenager kind of way, just boom, 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 boom. And he did it every single time. I would hear that, y'all. I would hear that when he wasn't home. And I would be sitting in my bedroom because my bedroom was underneath and kind of to the side of the stairs, and I would hear that boom, 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 boom. And my heart would jump, and I would be like, maybe I'm not in this nightmare, and maybe he is. There's been times I got up and went and looked. Y'all, it's gonna make me cry. But it was that, the enemy will just play tricks on you and play tricks on your brain. And I had not lived alone. I had been with him. He'd been my son. I was single mom, 19 years. I had not lived alone. We had roommates off and on, throughout. We also had roommates living with us. And so, I'm just like, oh, this is horrible. There's nobody here. And I was in this big old house, and I felt like it was closing in on me. I almost felt like I was in a humongous castle, and the house was just closing in, like it was just burying me. And as miserable as I was in the house, I didn't want to go anywhere, which you'd think I would want to just get out. But I was isolating. There was a period of time that I got suicidal, and I really think the only thing that kept me going was the fact that he needs me. I'm all that he's got, and um, I remember friends coming over and praying for me because I literally was like, I don't want to be here anymore. And then that loneliness of, yes, I felt so alone and so in this, that it's just me. And, I had all these people helping me, but like my inner circle, this thing is just gone, and now it's empty. And just the aloneness of the whole thing. And I remember just crying and doing all that. And like I said, not wanting to go anywhere, and then forcing myself to go somewhere because I knew it was good for me to get out and go. But then I remember getting in all this fear. I talk about the house where I felt like it was closing in on me. There was a period of time that, man, this was, and I know I've talked to other people that have had this, but it's an evil spirit, and it moves in at sunset, right when it's getting dark. And I felt it moving towards my house, just darkness, terror, fear. Um, Joyce Meyer talks about it in one of her books. She called it an evil foreboding spirit, and that's what it was. Anyway, it would come in, and I could feel it. 9 o'clock at night, I could feel it just start to move in, move in on me and move in on the house. And I remember staying up all night. I had had some friends put up a camera in the back of my house. And so I had a camera in the back, I had a camera in the front, and I had a camera like on the corner. And I would stay up all night and monitor these cameras, flipping from camera to camera, just knowing paranoia. Somebody's gonna come in here. Somebody's gonna break in. Somebody's gonna do something. Somebody's gonna hurt me. Somebody's trying to break out in my house. And I remember the camera in the back. Um, it had a siren on it, and I remember a couple of times me firing that siren off from my phone because I thought something was out there. And it's hard to see on those like Ring cameras sometimes, especially at night. And you would see something move. It was probably an animal or whatever, and I would just fire that siren on, and my neighbors could hear it. I would fire that just out of fear and just would feel like I did something to scare it off. And I would stay up like that and just fall in and out of sleep and then get back up and look at the cameras again. And just that fear of being alone and that, something happens to me, nobody would ever know. Like, how long would it be before they found me? I mean, all the things the enemy says, oh my gosh. And, man, I read about that evil foreboding spirit, and I went around and started praying over my house, corner to corner, yard to yard. I started anointing my house. I started praying before that spirit moved in. I was doing all kinds of stuff, and I can't say it was a quick fix. I can't say that it was an immediate deliverance that, oh, I slept like a baby after that, but it was progressive. Like, went a little bit more after I started feeling like I was doing something. I mean, sometimes I even had friends stay the night with me, just, Um, and I had dogs, they were somewhat of a comfort, but they just seemed to bark at a shadow, and they sometimes made it worse. They probably sensed that spirit too. But I just prayed that all out and anointed my house. And so if you're dealing with that, I feel for you because it's horrible, and but it can be taken care of, and you can pray that away, and you can anoint your house, and you can have the Lord just meet you there and ask him, what else do I do? Cover my house, send angels to my house. I remember saying that, post angels. Lord, I'm asking you to post angels at every corner of my house. Um, and protect me and cover me and get me, keep me in peace. Um, and it eventually happened, but it wasn't a quick fix. And I hope it's a quick fix for you. I hope it's just gone. But I was going to also share that it's Lent. I'm doing a devotional, and one of the second days is talking about Jesus and how he says, come and see. He was talking to, somebody asked where he was staying. I think it was Andrew. If I get it, y'all, I am not a biblical scholar. I'm not a theologian. I probably can't even remember an address in the Bible. It's somewhere. Anyway. But I was reading that this is in John, I believe. But what I wanted to share with you, let's see, it was actually, I wrote it down so that I could tell you guys. I think it's Genesis 28. Um, is that right? I don't know. Anyway, I think, yes, we were talking about, yes. Well, so we were doing the come and see. Somehow I ended up going down this road with come and see where Jesus said to me, say that to me. Like, Jesus, you come and see. Like, you come and see where I live. You come and see me. Come and see. Come and look into my heart, is what you're actually saying. Come and see Jesus. And so I was like, oh, what if we flip that script and we turn that question around to Jesus? Are we like, oh, okay, I'm going to let you see into my heart. I'm going to let you see me, which he does. You can try to hide. You can put on a mask. You can act a certain way, but he sees your heart. Like, he knows. He sees everything. And so I'm reading this, and I end up with Jacob and the ladder where, the angels are going up and down. Let's see, that's Genesis 28. And I was like, oh, this was so beautiful. So I'm going to read it to you. Yes, it's Genesis 28. This is my old Bible. This is my Joyce Meyer. It's Amplified Bible. I have that and I have the Passion, and I read from those two. The Passion will wreck me sometimes, but I've gone back to my Joyce Meyer Bible, which I haven't read for a while, but it's Amplified. But in the footnotes, this is what it's talking about with the Jacob ladder story. There's an open way between heaven and earth for each of us. I mean, that's the ladder. Jesus is the ladder, and there's an open way for us. Um, it says the movement of the tide and the circulation of the blood are not more regular than the intercommunication between heaven and earth. Your blood circulating is not more than the communication between heaven and earth. That one blew me away. I was like, wow, that means just constant communication. Anyway, Jacob may have thought that God was local, but now he found him to be omnipresent. This is the part that wrecked me. Every lonely spot was his house filled with angels. And I guess she got that out of a F.B. Meyer book, Day by Day. But when Jacob found God in his own heart, he then found him everywhere. But every lonely spot was his house filled with angels. He wants to fill the lonely spots. He wants to fill them with himself, and he wants to fill them with angels. He wants to fill those lonely spots. He does not want us to be lonely. He does not like, we are not built to be lonely. So if you are dealing with loneliness, and loneliness and solitude and isolation are all separate, are you isolating? Are you on purposefully staying at home and avoiding people? And if so, why? Ask the Lord to come and see. Come and see why. Come and see why I'm doing this. Come and fill my lonely spots with yourself and angels. Come and fill my lonely spots. Why am I isolating? Now, if you're just coming home because you're an introvert and you like solitude and you need your peace to survive, that's totally different. That's like I'm doing this for my own mental health. I need my space. Um, I'm a bit like that. I Now that I've lived alone for a while, I'm kind of used to it now, and I like my solitude sometimes. I like having peace and quiet. I like having that space. And if it gets to be, the world gets to be too much or I get to be too busy, I can't wait to get to my solitude place. And having that time with Jesus and filling back up. You have to have that. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about this loneliness where you just feel it coming in and creeping in, and it's going to just smother you, and just darkness behind you and all around you. You feel like you can't stand up. Feel like you're in this small, you can't stand up fully. You're just kind of being scrunched. That's all the ways that I felt, and just like if the thought ever crossed your mind that, oh my gosh, if something happened to me, when would anybody know? Am I just going to sit here? All of those things. That's what I'm talking about. Invite him into that. Jesus, come and see. Come and see what this is. Come and see in my heart. Come and tell me how to deal with this. Come and tell me how to get it out. Come and take it. Fill it so I don't feel this anymore. Come and take it so that I can desire to have community and friends and get out of my house and do things and get up and do what you've built me to do, what you I have a purpose, I have a calling. Help me get up and out. Because the first thing the enemy wants to do is keep you down. He does. He wants to keep you down. So I would just invite you to do that. I also wanted to I wanted to pray over you all. This was a psalm and it's Psalm 40. And I'm going to read it out of the Passion. But this one just really got to me. It just really got to my heart, which the Psalms and the Passion are beautiful. But I felt like this was hope. He's got it titled The Joyful Salvation, which it is, but I guess that is hope. So anyway, I'm going to read it to you. And as I'm reading it to you, it is also a prayer over you. Go back, ask the Lord, just like from the first podcast, where did I leave my hope? Where is it? What did I do with it? Did I lose it? Did I leave it somewhere? I had it once. What did I do with it? Did I throw it in the trash? Did I drop it? What did I do with it? Just talk to Jesus like that and write down the answers. He will answer you. And if you say you can't hear from the Lord, it's not true. You can. If you've ever had a thought that wasn't yours, have you ever had a thought come in and you're like, did I think that? Where did that come from? I was hearing from Jesus all along, and I didn't know until somebody taught me that that's who I was. That's Jesus. That's the Lord talking to you, and you got the enemy talking to you too. And it's pretty easy to tell the difference. It's pretty easy to tell the difference, and you'll know when it's you. But if you have a thought that you didn't think you could think yourself, just, is that you, Jesus? And if it's the enemy, you'll know. If it's negative, it's talking down to you, it's shutting you off, it's doing any of that. That's the enemy. That's the enemy trying to. But if it's full of love, and it's full of comfort, and it's full of, even when he is correcting me, it is not there's no condemnation, there's no guilt. You'll know. It's his nature. You'll know. So, so that excuse doesn't fly with me. If you say I can't hear from the Lord, my son says that all the time, and I'm like, yes, you can. So here's Psalm 40, and I'm just going to read part of it. It's Psalm 40 through, I think it says 6. I don't have my glasses on. All right, so I waited and waited and waited some more, patiently, knowing God would come through for me. That's hope. Then at last he bent down and he listened to my cry. He stooped down to lift me out of danger from the desolate pit I was in, out of the muddy mess I had fallen into. Now he's lifted me up into a firm, secure place and steadied me while I walk along his ascending path. Just look at that, man. He stooped down, lift me out of danger from the desolate pit I was in, out of the muddy mess I had fallen into. And now he's lifted me up into a firm, secure place and steadied me while I walk along his ascending path. He will do that for you. He will pull you out of a desolate pit, your muddy mess, and lift you up and put you in a firm, secure place and steady you while you learn. Like we don't know how to walk, he's going to steady you while you walk along this path. And you will have a new song for a new day that rises up in you. And I pray that over y'all, a new song for a new day that rises up in you every time you think about how he breaks through for you. Ecstatic praise will pour it out of your mouth until everybody hears how God has set you free. Many will see his miracles. They will stand in awe of God and they will fall in love with him. And blessing after blessing comes to those who love and trust the Lord. I pray that for you guys today, that it is a new song for a new day. That he breaks through for you over and over and over. And every time you think about it, you share it and you tell someone else. I feel like that's why I'm here talking today. He did exactly that. He's lifted me up into a firm, secure place and he steadied me. There were many times I fell, There were many times I fell into that loneliness and that isolation and that pity, that self pity, and that victim mode and anger and all of the things. I mean, it was a roller coaster of emotion over the last few years. And, you know, I shut some people off. I let some people in. I'd go lock myself up, like, so I just pray that for you. It's a new song for a new day. I finally feel like I have a new song for a new day. And it comes up in me. And that every time I think about how he breaks through for me, oh man, that's why I'm here. It's why I'm sharing this with you. I didn't want to do this podcast. Oh, the Lord had me do it. He wants you to know. So, yes, he breaks through for you, and that ecstatic praise will pour out of your mouth, and that you will come into hope, come into agreement with hope, and that you will praise him and tell your story, and other people will hope. It's contagious. So, I would rather spread that kind of stuff, hope, some stuff. I guess I shouldn't say it like that, but I'd rather spread that than to spread negativity and all of the things that are going around today. So I pray that this message of hope just spreads like wildfire. Let it spread like COVID did. Let it just spread. Anyway, all right, friends. Well, that's the podcast today. I thank you for listening. I thank you. If there's any questions, one day I hope to learn how to figure out how to do a live and take questions while I'm on. But you can email them to me. The email is down there at theheartbeatofhope@gmail.com. If there's something that you want me to discuss or you have a question for me, I'll be happy to answer it. So just feel free to, or you have a comment, just email me there. And I will see you next week. All right. Blessings and just be full of hope. Thank you.